It's amazing we've come to a time when we are afraid to talk about our prophet. Every other religion is proud of their prophet. You go to the Mormon and he will tell you of his prophet. You go to the religions and they will tell you the Dalai Lama. They'll tell you of the Mishnah, the one who is a seer of the religion. Then you go down to the Muslim, he will tell you of the Prophet Muhammad and is not afraid to tell you what he says either. In fact, he'll kill you if you say something bad about him. You go to every other religion and they're proud of their prophet and they all have false prophets. And you come to the church that has a true prophet, and we're afraid to say what our prophet says. She's our favorite author. Yes, but that was back in her day. My brothers and sisters, we have a prophet. And everything this prophet says, the Bible says.
I agree with the preacher 100%. I agree with him. And before I pass my comments, I would like to tell all SDAs that are interested in medical missionary program to watch this video until the end, especially at the end of this video, a program that would help you to be a good medical missionary. So please watch that program, short one, and register to become a medical missionary. Okay, so now let's get into the video. It's
amazing we've come to a time when we are afraid to talk about our prophet.
As I said, I do agree with the preacher 100% about what he said concerning how SDAs are treating Ellen G. White. You know, many SDAs, not all, many SDAs actually do not treat Ellen White well, in a sense that they feel less confident about her and her writings. Yes, that is true. Many SDAs today feel less confident about Ellen White and her writings. And you know, the sad part of it is that some pastors, even some pastors that are working for the Lord, are less confident about Ellen G. White. And so they don't quote Ellen G. White from their pulpit. Yes, that is the truth. Some pastors feel less confident about her and her writing, so they don't quote from her from the pulpit. And this is where the problem is. Because if pastors that are leaders of the church are not quoting, are not encouraging members to read Ellen White, to value her writings, would you expect the church members to behave any different? You know, the reason why many SDA church members are not really confident about Ellen White is because the pastors are not encouraging or promoting Ellen White and her writings from the pulpit. So, friends, it is a big problem. It is a big problem in the church. And as the preacher said, Muslims, they highly value the prophet Muhammad. The Mormons, they highly value the prophet Joseph Smith Jr. and his writings. And other faiths do value their prophets and their writings. But when it comes to SDAs, it's a problem. Today is a problem. How many times have you heard your pastor or your elder or anybody quote Ellen White from the church, from the pulpit? How many times? In a year or in a month? How many times? You rarely hear quotes from Ellen White from the pulpit. So that is our problem. You know, let me share with you this story. When I was in college, I worked as literature evangelist, okay? So I was used to going out every Sunday to sell some books, SDA health books and some other SDA books, just to support my education. That was what I actually did. So I used to go out with a friend called Joshua. Hi, Joshua, if you're watching this video. And one day, we ended up in a Latter-day Saint church. We ended up there. We wanted to go and sell some books to them. And, when we got there, they welcomed us very beautifully. They took copies of the books to the pastor's office, and I think they went through the books. They saw that the books were good. They asked us to sit through their service, and so that after the service, we can talk more about the book. So we sat through their service, listened to them, their sermons, and what I realized was that they were teaching from the Book of the Mormon. I don't know what it's called, the Mormon book. And when I came home and I searched about the book, it was written by their prophets, and how they were actually teaching from the book and valuing the prophets. And I would tell you that the Mormons highly value the Book of the Mormon. They teach from it. They really teach from the book in their churches. Friends, it's not an easy thing. Not an easy thing. So after the service, we met again with the leadership of the church. Unfortunately, they did not buy any of our books because I think they realized that we were Adventist, the books were Adventist books. So I don't know, but they did not buy any of our books. But you know what? They wanted to give us their books, but at that time too, we were not ready. So we thanked them and we left. So the bottom line is that many other faiths actually do value their prophets. They value them. They like their teachings, their books that they wrote, and you will see them quote from these prophets in their church houses, in their places of worship. They teach from their books. But SDAs, is a problem today. Is a problem today. So friends, I do agree with the pastor. I do agree 100%. I do agree. How we value Ellen White today is not close to how the Mormons value Joseph Smith Jr. How we value Ellen White's writings today in the Seventh-day Adventist Church is not close to how the Muslims value Prophet Muhammad and his writings, the Hadith and other writings of Muhammad. So the problem is us. We are the problem. We are the problem. And the leaders too are part of the problem, because many of them don't quote from Ellen G. White from the pulpit. Many SDA pastors don't quote Ellen White from the pulpit, and something that is not emphasized from the pulpit is not valued in the pews. If you don't emphasize something in the pulpit, it is less valued in the pews.
We have a complementary source of wisdom. The writings of whom? Ellen White. God in heaven knows I speak the truth when I say how often I thank God for the ministry of Ellen White. Let me say it again. On my knees, I say it in the hearing of a God who hates lies. I thank God for what he did through that woman. And the legacy of light, the inheritance of truth that has come down to us. We despise it. Studies have shown that one of the factors that contribute to spiritual growth among Adventists is reading the writings of Ellen White. Let me talk to the young people. The older ones, it's harder to get through to them because we have more layers of sin, you see. You being young, God has just a little work to scrape away the sin, but for us, he needs a pneumatic drill. Read the writings of Ellen White. Cherish that wisdom. You got your eyes on a girlfriend? Read messages to young people. Read letters to young lovers. Read Adventist Home. You're thinking of getting married? Read Adventist Home. You want to bring a child into the world? Read Child Guidance. Not Joyce Meyer and T.D. Jakes and Benny Hinn and the others. You smile and you smile beautifully, but do you understand the insult to God? Here is a source of inspired wisdom, and we despise it and seek carnal knowledge. No wonder nobody knows who Adventists are. As I was telling some people yesterday, all the whole world knows who is ISIS. Very few people know who Adventists are. We have a complementary. Why do I say complementary? Because it supports, it helps us to understand. It in no way conflicts with biblical truth. We despise it. Listen to a Bible verse. Don't go there, just listen. Believe in the Lord your God, so shall you be established. Who can finish that? Believe what? His prophets, so shall ye prosper. Now, let's reread that microscopically. It says, believe in the Lord your God, so shall you be established. It does not say believe in the prophets. It says believe them, which means believe what they say, but you believe in God. Are you following me? There's a difference. Ellen White is not a God. You missed it. It's my fault. Believe in the Lord your God, so shall he be established. Believe his prophets, so shall he prosper. This church officially regards Ellen Gould White as having exercised the biblical prophetic gift. As verily as Isaiah or Jeremiah, even though her writings are not part of the biblical canon, the source is the same. And when you neglect her light, you develop a disregard for this. And so I appeal to my handsome brothers, my attractive young sisters, listen to me. Do yourself a favor. Build on solid rock. Read the writings of the prophet. Buy her books.
I have seen few pastors on social media, on YouTube and other social media platforms, few pastors, SDA pastors, that encourage the reading of Ellen White or that quote Ellen White from the pulpit. Few of them. That is what I have seen, like Pastor Randy Skeet, Pastor Professor Walter Vythe, Pastor Wintley Phipps, Pastor John Lomacan, Pastor Mark Finley, and some other pastors. You know, maybe there are pastors that quote from Ellen White that I don't know, but what I have seen is what I've made known to you. So please let us encourage the reading of the Bible, yes, and also the reading of Ellen G. White among our members. So friends, you can share your thoughts in the comments. You can share your thoughts in the comments about what the preacher said, about how we treat Ellen White in our churches. Okay, so share your thoughts in the comments. And as I said at the beginning of the video, if you are interested in becoming a medical missionary, please, the video that I'm going to play right now is for you. Register and be a medical missionary. Go through the training and become a medical missionary for the Lord. Thanks for watching. See you again. May God bless you.
Hi, Brother Lawrence. I'd like to share with you and your viewers an inspired statement from Welfare Ministry, page 146. We greatly need consecrated women who, as messengers of mercy, will visit the mothers and the children in their homes and help them. You will find that by this method, you will have souls as the result of your ministry. Many Seventh-day Adventist women feel called to medical missionary work, but may not know where to begin. At the same time, a growing number of U.S. states are recognizing the value of doula care in improving birth outcomes for mothers and babies by covering doula services through Medicaid programs. A doula provides non-clinical, emotional, physical, and informational support to women and families through pregnancy, birth, and postpartum using a home visitation and birth attendance model. At Born Again Academy, we offer Christian, evidence-based doula training designed to fulfill the training requirements of select state Medicaid programs, so our graduates can get compensated for their work through insurance. If you or someone you know has a burden for mothers, babies, families, and practical gospel ministry, this may be the path God is opening. Visit www.perinatal.academy to learn more.